Hello Blood Bowl fans, and specifically hello to those Rebel rookies, because we're playing our first round of Rebel. Now, funnily enough, I actually had my first game with a good friend of mine, Fallenglory. He's one of my moderators in the ReBBL, and it's just the way it happened to fall. We're both in your league as guest coaches, and we were both free when we put the call out for a game, so we play each other in the first game. So we're actually playing as two coaches that know each other very well. Very well. But he did opt to play my Orks. He went for the serious team. We don't play seriously very often, so this is quite good. And he's playing his Lizards, so this is going to be a very difficult match for the two of us. Well, we're playing teams that we're both quite familiar with and that we both like playing as, so it's going to be a rough old game, this one. So let's see how we do. So, my Orks are singing I'm Green Dabba Dee Dabba Die. And the Lizards are singing I'm Blue, Why the Hell Did You Go First? And I do like the red colour scheme on the Lizards, it's very nice. I like a lot of the colour schemes on Lizards, actually. I don't think I've seen a bad one yet, so I've got to play around with the paint jobs on the Lizards a little bit. Fawn's gone for a 1 Crux, 5 Saurus, 5 Skink build with 2 rerolls, and I've gone for a 4 Black Orc, 4 Blitzer, Thrower, Goblin, Lineman with 3 rerolls, which is my common Orc setup. This is the team you can play whenever you want in the Rebel Spin League as well, if you want to play the serious game. I'm a pretty decent Orc coach, though, I'll say that openly. It's a team that I'm very comfortable playing, and I'm never afraid of any opponent as Orcs, so you are probably going to be playing me at my best if you play against the Orc team. Just so you know. So, I've gone for a fairly standard setup. I'll give you a little bit of idea of how I play this team, which gives you a bit of an edge if you play against me, but I don't mind so much. I like to play in defense and attack with the 5-man line, because basically they can hold their own. No matter what. And the way I always play this team is I try to make a box around the opponent, and then I make a hole either on a side or in the middle, and I break through with the Goblin holding the ball. That's always the goal. Anyway, the Goblin's going to kick, and Pouring Rain rerolls into Pouring Rain. That's interesting, I don't think I've ever seen that before, but that's cool. And Fallenglory is actually set up on the one side, so he was very lucky he didn't get a blitz there, or... well, it's the Blitz, actually. Blitz would have been terrible for him there. He's lucky he didn't get that. Fallenglory, of course, is also in your league. You can play him. He's also put this team in specifically to spin against you guys. He is playing, I believe, in the All-Stars League. And I'm playing in the G-Man League, Division 3. I've already played the first game. It's in the video list below. And Fallen has blitzed the Goblin immediately, which is fair call. I mean, if you want to hit the Goblin, then that's the best way. Oh, and I should talk about the names. So we've got Go-Go Power Lizards, which are based loosely on the Power Rangers. Each of the Skink are a colour, so we've got, I don't know in what order, but we've got pink, black, red, yellow, and blue Skink, I think. The Sauri are all named after the mechanical beasts that they ride, the different types of dinosaurs and prehistoric animals. And the Croxagore is the Titanus, the big thing that they all combine into. So he's based on the original Power Rangers series, which I always enjoy. And my Orks are all Orkish names. So we've got the ReBBL Rounders, and I'll just go through them. You can have a look if you want to, as we're doing things. And I have actually, as you can already see, I have boxed him into this one corner already. He's kind of got this little way he can come through with these 2 Skinks if he wants to. But he's going to be safer going through this way, so I'm kind of forcing him this way. That's the plan here. And I free up the Goblin, which is always good news, who I put in support. And I've taken I've taken 1 die, and 2 die there. It's a bit early to take a 1 die, but I want to keep as many pieces locked up and out of the way as possible. And what Fallen should do, really, is push this way, because it forced me to reposition the team. But the way that we are at the moment, he's kind of got to come this way, because it's safer. And That's a bad roll. He's already used both his rerolls in 2 turns. That's bad luck for him. He's got a pretty rough start. But that helps. Knocking out a blitzer is always good when you're playing against Orks. And I want to get my revenge as quickly as possible because I do not want to be down men in this matchup, and nor does he. Neither of us want to be down men, that's for certain. If I can wipe out a Saurus or 2, that would be fantastic, but I am going to aim to mostly wipe out the Skinks because they're easier to put down. And it's going to cause some problems if I can put 1 or 2 of them out of the game. 2 down the Goblin is bad news for me, but luckily the armor roll is pretty fair and nobody is injured, stunned or anything. Even me for my turn 2. I'm going to bring the Goblin out of the fight now because I want to keep him... Well, I want to keep him in reserve mostly for if the Skinks do manage to break through. Because I can at the very least have a 1-die block off with my Goblin. And I should be trying to hit a Skink here if possible, because I want to get some damage done as soon as possible here. Though it looks like I'm still going to focus mostly on the Saurus. Yeah, I do break the Saurus part of the cage just because it's the best way to lock up. Ideally I wanted to punch a Skink, but that was the best piece to put down in the situation as it was. And taking a 1-die block with block is much safer than it seems, though of course rolling dice is always scary. And I do even out those KOs at least, so we're back down to 10 against 10. That 2 down isn't great news for me, but it does mean that the Crocs has to blitz if he wants to punch, so that's one thing that does go in my favour. Though, Fawn, maybe it's not such a bad idea doing that, and he does do that immediately, yes, good call. To wipe out this Black Orc who's causing him problems. And he does follow to secure the cage, that's very well played by Fallen there. And that leaves the Saurus free to... well, basically lock up these 2 pieces, leaving me to do the cleanup now. But I have plenty of pieces in reserve. I don't mind the fact he's broken through now. Knocking out that KO, knocking out that Saurus was actually huge for me when I look at this now. This turn I am going to punch a Skink definitely because I want to slow these 3 down. That's unlucky with a dodge. That's really unlucky actually. It gives me a chance to clean up even better than I could before because I have an extra piece free. These 3 pieces are immediately going to lock up this little cage, and I am going to send the Black Orc to lock up the Saurus as well. That's a 1-die block for both of us, so it's a good matchup. Goblin is probably going to do the blitz actually because these 2 pieces can't move as far, and I need the Goblin here, basically. So the Goblin is probably going to do the blitz on this piece. And push isn't really good enough for me here, so I'm going to leave that for a minute. And reroll there, because I need the Goblin to stay standing, and I need the Skink down. I don't follow, because I don't want him to be based. Oh, and Goblin actually causes an injury, which is great news for me, and Black Skink is gone. Bye-bye, Zach. Yep, I remember their names. At least some of them. Let's see if I remember all of them actually. It was Zach, Tommy, Billy, Kimberly, and... nope, I don't remember all of them. I don't remember the last one. Lisa? I don't know. Anyway, that turn went perfectly for me basically. I got plenty of pieces to lock up this corner. There's a Skink down, and a lot of fallen pieces are out of position, so that's very good for me. And the Crocs just gets a push, which is also good news. And no matter which piece the Saurus blitz, you still have to dodge your way through, which isn't so bad as Skinks, it's possible. But it's not fun dodging through, that's for certain. And I don't think Fallen's going to bother. No, he's just going to lock up as far away from all my pieces as he can, which is fair. It's basically his only option. Both his options are bad. He can dodge through, which is bad, because he leaves pieces on their own, or he can try and secure them on the corner, which is bad, because I've got enough pieces to push him forward. So I just gave him no options here, to be fair to Fawn. We're going to blitz Skink again, this time. so long as we can reroll this, which we can. We are going to keep these pieces well out of reach though. That's going to be one of the main goals here. So these 3 pieces, even though at the moment of course this piece is in danger, not such a big deal. That's a good block on the skink again. It's another pow. Oh, and that's another injury by Billy. Yeah, that's a bit rough for Fallenglory. Skinks are usually quite hard to hit, but I have been rolling quite well against them so far. And I leave the goblin in support so I can block out Gutter, so he's not so easy to surf. And it also means that every single piece is in trouble here. I am also quite happy with the 2 down there, even though it's a bit dangerous for the Black Orc, because Crocs have Mighty Blow. But basically, the Crocs is going to punch anyway, so I prefer him to be down. So he has to blitz if he wants to do the punch. And of course he won't blitz because it's not the best punch. That is good though. Leaving the goblin not here means that the skink can get away. Oh, but the dodge is unlucky. It means the skink can get away, but he can't get too far away, to be fair. I've still got pieces that can get to him, even if he runs his full width of the pitch. And I moved the goblin specifically so I could stop this piece from being surfed. So there was method to that madness. Though you can make an argument that I could have left the piece where it was. Now the ball is free anyway, so I have a chance to pick the ball up, and I will almost certainly use that. I need to get the goblin out though, that's the thing. Here. So we're going to blitz this piece off as well, and then goblin can run away free, probably here somewhere. Or maybe even here somewhere, that's probably better. A stun on the Saurus is good news for me. That means one more piece isn't causing me trouble. And yeah, I did run this way. And Lobber picks up the ball in the rain. Yes, he does actually. And I'm probably even going to go for a pass here. Kind of have to go for a pass actually, because that's not safe at all. It's inaccurate, but inaccurate is fine at this point. The skink can pick it up, but he can't really do anything with it once he has picked it up, so I don't mind that ball at all. There are 2 skinks here actually, but still. We're blitzing with the Crocs, which is interesting, but it gets him off the edge. Though to be honest, I'm not too worried about surfing the Crocs. It's not a priority for me at all. The priority for me is scoring, because, well, I want to be points up in this match. I don't necessarily want to be injuries up, and I already have the numbers, so I have to get value for the score. He does go for the pickup. Unfortunately, though, it scatters off the pitch, and it scatters back into a position where the thrower can pick it up again. The goblin is kind of exposed now though, so it's not so easy with the ball now. Though I'm going to lock up pieces first. That's going to be my first goal here. Oh no, I'm going to take a block, which was kind of unnecessary first off, but there we go. He did it. Yeah, I should have moved this Black Orc first, but fair enough. Black Orc should go and secure the ball, or, okay, that's the other option, or go onto the Coxicle, yeah. Now we'll blitz this skink just for fun. Oh, and that's another injury. Right, I can put this argument to rest now. There was an argument of whether, if the injury roll is correct, you get SPP for surfing. You don't. Even if you cause the injury as the blocking piece, there's no SPP for surfing a piece, regardless of the result. There we go. We can put the argument to bed now. I'm going to push the Crocs back onto the edge, but like I say, I'm not too bothered about surfing him. I'm more bothered about securing the ball. So I'm going to bring the Goblin close up to Lobber, so no chance of... well, less chance of the ball going down. The Crocs are called Boneheads, which is bad news for Fallen. It means that I am going to have a good chance of putting him down. Though it's not going to be a priority. Priority is getting Goblin out of the way. Unlucky roll there. If he had a block that was any kind of successful there, then I was going to struggle to get Goblin out, but he didn't. So I should stand up pieces first. I'm actually going to move these pieces out of the way to lock up these 2. With Bonehead I can move freely. And stand up this piece, and this piece can actually come back and secure the Crocs. No, didn't do that, that's fine. Here comes the handoff then. It's good, and Goblin can run well out of range. And Fallen can't stop him. That means we're going to end 1-0. And that's good enough. Means I can bring this piece back, and the Black Orc can surf off the Proxigor. I think it's still a 1 die though, because of the skink. Yeah, it is. But it's good enough. Prox goes bye-bye. This is something I see coaches do badly all the time. You don't need to immediately surf off a piece. You can do things first that are safer, and then follow up with a surf. So surfing should never ever be a priority, but it is for a lot of coaches. It should never be the priority. Well, Fallen's going to put as much pressure on me as he can, but it doesn't make a difference, especially as it's turn 8 anyway. And Goblin gets the first touchdown. And the git we don't want, turns out we do want him, because he's already on 5 SPP this much, which is pretty impressive for a Goblin. And the fantastic Goblin dance in the rain makes it even better. And we go into half-time, 1-0 up, in Fallenglory's drive, I believe. So in terms of injuries and KOs, my 1 KO comes back, leaving me with 11. Fallenglory's 3 injured skinks stay down, and the Saurus does come back, leaving Fallenglory with 8. So 11 against 8 in the second half, 1-0 up to the Orks. As they make it very difficult for Fallenglory, even especially considering that he's kicking to me as well, so the ball is even going to be in my possession from the beginning. Now, I played around with the idea of leaving minimum pieces on the line, though I didn't like it, so I'm going to do that play in a minute. Yeah, we're going to just leave this, make sure this gap doesn't exist as well. Yeah, so I did move the Black Orcs out first, and then I thought, actually no, that's not a good idea, and I put them back in. So we're going to do maximum damage from the first group of punches, and the basic, what I call the tank maneuver, which means that you completely lock up the entire team in this little box here when they set up this way. I like it actually when opponents set up this way against the Orcs, because I can move the Orcs into the tank position. And Quick Snap helps me a lot actually. It means that I can reposition the team in a much, well, better way. And the Lobber, well, his name is Lobber. Lobber has no problem retrieving the ball. So this is how the tank works. I always lock up the 2 edges with the blitzers. Always do the same thing. And the Black Orcs and the Line Orc basically make it an arrow, stopping anything from coming through the middle and forcing anything to go around this way. Starting with 2 skulls isn't good, but reroll saves us. This one's going to go here, yeah. Now block this way, Black Orc goes here, lineman punches. Means the Crocs isn't based, which is great. Means the 2 skinks are going to have trouble getting around, and they're going to be on their own if they get around. And everything is centralized here. I have complete control of the pitch at the moment. And the Goblin's going to move to 1 flank. Kind of like a bluff. I don't necessarily want to score with the Goblin here. Quite happy to score with a different piece. In fact, I prefer to score with a Blitzer here, if I'm going to score again. But I like to put the Goblin out as a little flank, so it forces the opposition team one way at least. And the Proxigor does take the bait. And that's an unlucky roll for Fallen again, meaning that he has to burn his reroll so early yet again. And if he brings this skink over as well, then that's perfect, because I can push this way. No, Fallenglory knows me a bit better than that, so he actually leaves the team spread out. Fair enough. That's an unlucky roll again, though. Well, that means I have Blitzer free, but we're not going to move the ball too quickly here. We're going to very slowly force the team further and further into the center, so I can leave a big gap to just go out down the back, and it's difficult for Fallen to chase me down. So That's what we're going to do here. Because the majority of pieces are this way, we're going to lock off this flank. And the goblin's probably going to come around in support as well. And I hope I do that before I take any blocks. Yeah, as you can see, I've completely given up this side entirely, but I've locked up every piece so they can't move too far away here. And the pieces that are on this side are mostly on the floor. Yeah, the goblin is going to come in support, and the foe is going to go here somewhere. Though we don't need to do that yet. Stun on the lizard is huge. And Blackhawk can do one of two things actually. It can come up here, which is probably the best move, or it can actually go in the middle somewhere, so you have to run around it. Or I can blitz with it, that's also a good option. But I can move it back here after that, so that's fine. Yep. I'm happy with that screen, that's perfect. So every piece that is anywhere near the ball now is on the floor. And every other piece is very much locked up over here. There's only one free Saurus, but that's not such a big deal. And a free skink, but that's really not a big deal. And he actually puts the skink on his own, which is good news for me. Though the block on the Gouger is not such good news for me. With the blitz, that was well played by Fallenglory. Means they can create a defensive drive. But still, I've got a lot of free pieces here. I've got 4 free pieces specifically, and he's already got a Saurus locked up, 2 Saurus in pretty good position but away from the team, and the 2 skinks well out of position if I want to go this way again, and the goblin can move this way quite far now. I'm giving myself options here now, because Fallenglory has proved, as he has done many times to be fair, he's proved that he can go either way with defense without much issue, so I'm just basically setting up so I have a piece on either flank that can receive the ball. So I'm keeping Fallen guessing now, whereas before I was very much showing my hand trying to control the way in which the team went. So, last elect is to split the team, so they are a bit confused and spread thin. If we get stunned, that's even better. I'm going to leave the Saurus free, but he's so far out of position, it's not really a big deal for me. No matter where Fallen decides to bring him back, he's not going to be too troubling. Leaving this one was a small problem, but I didn't have a piece to lock him up, so I left him alone. And it does mean he can blitz the ball carrier. And fortunately the reroll isn't good for him, so we get a push. I wasn't too worried about him knocking the ball carrier down. I had enough pieces to clean up and the goblin could have picked up. So leaving that piece alone wasn't such a big deal for me. What I want to do mostly is keep this part of the team as far away from the ball as possible. So he's only coming with 1 piece or 2 pieces maximum each time he makes an advance on the ball. And I actually have 2 pieces within scoring range right now, so I can take the 2-0 this turn if I want to. This piece can't score without too much risk, so I'm going to move that one. This piece requires 2 GFIs, this piece requires 1 GFI, so this is my ball target. First though, I need to clear up the ball. And that's not good enough. And nor is that. That's bad news. So we're going to move the goblin up to lock up the skink and also as a reserve potential score piece. And 2 down is bad news for me, as it leads to an injury and the Blackhawk losing a point in agility. That's really bad news, because you know Blackhawks really need agility for their leaping skills. So he's out for next game as well, which is a bit unfortunate, but line orcs aren't so bad, so getting a loner or 2 isn't such a big deal. That is bad news though, it means I can't move the ball, but he still doesn't really have a piece that he can get there in support, so I'm pretty safe even now with a roll going badly. Though the Crocs on the ball carrier is a bit scary. I have a reroll though, so I'm probably dodging out next turn. And he is actually leaving this piece alone, which is good news for me, because it can still score. Oh, and the double skull is a pain. That's a shame. I'm going to have to dodge pass here, which isn't ideal. Hopefully I do some moving first, though. I do. Good. That's the only piece I can move safely, so that's all she wrote. And that makes the dodge even harder. So that means I'm not dodging, I'm just passing. It is a 6+ pass with a reroll, which is not great, but I don't mind an inaccurate so long as it doesn't get intercepted. That's the only thing that can go wrong here, really. And the goblin is free to accept it. So I'm going to bring the score piece back, and here comes the pass. And I actually rolled a 6, which is pretty sick, and the goblin caught it as well, and I didn't even need a reroll. So that leaves goblin well out of range again. Fallenglory can dodge this piece out. Now he can't. Fallenglory can dodge this piece out, and double GFI to get to the goblin. That's his one option, and that's exactly what he does. That's a 5+, 2+2+, which works, and a power, which gets the goblin down and out. Fair enough. That's karma for the pass, so I'm not going to surrender that. But that's brilliant for the ball. I can get to that ball nice and easily and still get a score with probably this blitzer. That's another injury, which is pretty bad news. Hopefully it's not bad. It's an eagle. That's pretty bad, but we're not going to fire the piece, that's for certain. We'll keep it for now, because we can't afford to replace it. If we can afford to replace it, though, I may just fire Gouger and replace him. Okay, Bonehead on Crocs is good news for me. If I can get this piece down, that gives me 2 free pieces. And he does take a punch against the thrower, which is fair enough. And I can take a pretty straightforward block against this piece, though first I need to get to this piece. I may not even take that block, there's no point. This piece down, take the ball, done. 2-0. With a reroll, even in the rain, that's pretty good. Reroll, that's not so good. And failed to pick up twice, which is bad news, but there's a lot of pressure on Fallenglory now, so I'm not too worried about failing that pickup. Though he does have the 2 skinks available there, and my goblin is down, which is bad news for me. Push isn't really good enough for him. Keeps too much pressure on the ball. He really needs to pick up. If he fails to pick up, then he's in trouble. And he does. And that scatters really well for me, actually. I can clean that up quite easily, unfortunately for Fallenglory. And the Crocs is still down, so I'm going to have to bring these pieces up in support if possible. And that's good enough. This piece comes up, just to screen off the way the ball can go. And Goblin's going to stand on the ball. I'm going to blitz with this piece so he can come back in support. Probably go here. Well, there's also good. And this piece is also going to lock up the ball. We're not going to pick it up yet, though. We're going to set that up for next turn. I'm not sure what happened with the Crocs. Maybe he boneheaded again, but he kind of done, so I don't know what happened there. Fallenglory is clever enough not to push me onto the ball, though it would be tempting, but there are too many bad options. And Skink actually manages to get the ball and is going to cause some trouble for me here. He's going to have to pass to the Saurus in order to score, but it's definitely an option. He can make this 1-all. So I need to put the Skink down or the Saurus down, and the Skink is easier, so I'm probably going to put the Skink down. I'm going to put the Crocs down first. Okay, that's fair. Put the throw in the way. I actually spent a long time thinking about where to put the thrower, I remember, but I do end up basing the Saurus, which is fair enough, because he has to blitz at the very least. And I dodge blitz onto the Skink, which is good enough. unfortunately for Fallenglory, and fortunately for me. I can't do much with the ball, but I will try and pick it up with the Goblin, and he fails. Fallenglory can still score, but he has to roll a lot of dice to make it happen, and in the rain it's going to be hard, but certainly not impossible. And the skink is going to do it. Pick up! Oh yes! The dodge, no. And that's the end of the first round of ReBBL. I think that was a good game to start with, actually. The Orks versus the Lizards. It's a difficult matchup, and I think we both played relatively well. We both had some luck as well with that crazy 6+ pass and the 5+ dodge that both worked. But things can work. If it's all you've got, you may as well take it. So 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 9 armor breaks against 4 armor breaks. Lizards weren't very bashy, that's for certain. Though 2 of those 4 were injuries, of course. And having a look at the SPP, then I've got 4 pieces that got some levels. Got some SPP, sorry. And there were just the 2 Saurus that got SPP, the one that caused both injuries apparently, and the man of the match. Claus was a blitzer, he got man of the match. Lobber is the thrower, he got the one from the pass. The Old And is actually the lineman, so the lineman got an injury, okay. And the Git we don't want, which is the Goblin, he was the real man of the match, managing the injury against the Skink, and also managing to score the touchdown. There was also an injury against the Skink from the crowd surf, and there's no SPP for that, so that argument is finally put to rest. Okay, well, thanks for watching ReBBL. If you do want to have a game against either the Orks or the Khemri team, let's have a look at the Khemri team again very quickly. Let's do a quick plug for the Khemris. I also have the Silly team in the Spin League, which is a Khemri team with no Tomb Guards, so if you want to play either of these games, the Orks that you've just seen, or the Khemri, please do PM me or try and ping me in the Spin and Win page, and if I'm free, we can play. I'll put all of the games on YouTube as a replay like this. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the pitch eventually. Bye for now. May Nuffle smile on you. Bye bye.